Welcome back, everyone, and thank you for joining us for another Virtual Investor What This Means segment. My name is Janine Thomas. I am CEO of JTCIR, and I will be the moderator for today's event. We are featuring Senti Biosciences today, and I am very pleased to be joined by Dr. Kanya Rajangam. She is President, Head of Research and Development, and Chief Medical Officer of Senti Bio. We're so excited to have you back, Kanya.
Hi, Janine. Excited to be back.
Well, always happy to have you. And before we get started, I just want to remind our audience that Senti Bio is publicly listed on NASDAQ and trades under the ticker SNTI. And during today's discussion, the company will be making forward-looking statements, and I encourage everyone to view the company's website at sentibio.com for the latest filings and information. Okay, Kanye, so the company announced that it had received orphan drug designation from the US FDA for Senti 202 for the treatment of acute myeloid leukemia. So congratulations on that. But first, let's set the stage. Can you give a brief overview of Senti 202?
Thank you for the question. And yes, we're super excited to have got that designation. So Senti 202 is our lead product in our pipeline of logic-gated CAR cell therapies. What Senti 202 does specifically, the way we've designed it is a CAR or a chimeric antigen receptor, which means we've added a gene circuit onto a healthy cell, in this case, a natural killer cell. And what we did is NK cells inherently have anti-cancer activity, especially against AML. And our gene circuit has been designed to augment that activity, increase the killing against AML. And we also engineered in protectivity so that it can selectively kill the AML cells but spare the healthy cells. So that in a nutshell is Senti 202. It's completely off the shelf, which means that we manufacture it from cells derived from healthy adult donors. We cryopreserve it. So when we have patients being screened for our trial and they're found to be eligible, we're able to administer the treatment to them immediately. So that is Senti 202.
So, Kanya, as you know, this is a What This Means segment. So, if you can tell our audience, what is orphan drug designation and what does it mean for your overall Senti 202 development program and strategy?
So the orphan drug designation is a designation which the FDA gives to products that are specifically being developed for rare diseases. The idea behind this designation is to encourage researchers to come up with new therapies for diseases which may not which are rare. So acute myeloid leukemia is an example. The incidence of AML is it affects about 21,000 Americans every year. So, while although the numbers of folks that it might affect may be smaller compared to something like a colorectal cancer or a lung cancer, there's a high unmet need in this population. As an example, patients who once they are treated with upfront therapy, most of them, either the disease comes back or they never respond to upfront therapy. And for those patients, especially, which is the patient population being looked at in our first clinical trial, the prognosis is very dire. The median survival is about 5 months. So there really is an urgent need for new products to be developed. So, specifically with the orphan drug designation, why it's exciting for us is twofold. One is by virtue of having the designation, we are able to have additional interactions with the FDA as we design our clinical program. Then there are some tax benefits and user fee benefits, as well as some further benefits when you talk of commercializing the product down the road. But in addition to that, this designation is given to those drugs wherein the scientific rationale that the company has put forward in front of the FDA is such that there is what they call a medically plausible basis to expect that the drug is effective in that particular rare disease. So it's to us, it's another validation of our proof of concept because the data that we've put forward, an independent entity has looked at it and said, yes, it's reasonable to assume that this drug is likely to be effective in this particular therapy.
Okay, so before we close, I have to ask, why do you think investors should be paying attention to Senti 202 and importantly, Senti Bio?
Thank you for that question, Janine. For a couple of different reasons. One, first of all, Senti 202 is a logic gated, so it's a very novel first in class therapy that we are developing in acute myeloid leukemia. We just went over that briefly. We recently had results from our ongoing phase one trial at AACR, where we showed that right off the gate, we've started seeing responses. And by responses, I mean complete absence of AML or leukemia blasts in patients, even using the most sensitive detection methods at the local site. So that's exciting. It's exciting, obviously, for these patients with this huge unmet need. But in addition, our particular technology, the logic gate, is such that it can be applied to other cancers as well, wherein you struggle to find a clean target. So, very simply, what we do is if there is a cancer which has a target which may also be expressed on a healthy cell, we engineer in using a gene circuit a method such that our cells can only kill the cancer cells and spare the healthy cells. We do that by using what we call a NOT gate. um, so there is broad application of these sort of not logic gated cancer CAR cell therapies beyond AML. So I think for both of these reasons, lead product, which is actively being evaluated in the clinic, showing some great preliminary results, as well as the ability to translate beyond that into a broader pipeline of products for other cancers. For both of those reasons, I think investors should be paying a lot of attention to what we're doing.
Kanya, congratulations on this exciting step forward for your Senti 202 program, and it certainly is an exciting time for Senti Bio. With that, this concludes our Virtual Investor What This Means segment featuring Senti Bio. I'd like to thank Dr. Kanya Rajankam for her participation, and I'd also like to thank our audience for your time and attention. As a reminder, Senti trades on NASDAQ under the ticker SNTI. And if you like what you saw today, I encourage you to visit sentibio.com for more information on the company and to sign up to follow the company to receive their alerts, as well as follow their social channels on X and LinkedIn to stay current on the latest information. And you can also visit virtualinvestorco.com for our latest events calendar. Kanya, thanks again. Thanks for our audience, and I wish everyone a great rest of your day.